Let's talk about two popular releases from Armaf. We've got Killer and we've got Jungle. Stay tuned. What's going on, guys? My name is Neeb. Welcome to Aromatics. Like I said in the intro, we're going to be talking about two hot releases from Armaf. If you're familiar with Armaf, then you might know a little bit of their Hunter series. They had one a couple years ago that was basically like an Invictus and Sauvage, and they've just released these two bad boys right here. So we've got Jungle and we've got Killer. This is probably one of my favorite Armaf fragrances to date, and I'm talking about Killer. Let's talk about this one last. Let's get into the first one, which is going to be Armaf Hunter Jungle. We're going to look at the notes on screen, and this is per Armaf themselves. You guys, there's cardamom, lavender, cumin, cinnamon, nutmeg, and some other notes. I wouldn't really rely too much on those notes. I would focus more so on what this fragrance smells like. So I narrowed it down to a popular DNA. This DNA is actually used in a lot of Middle Eastern perfumery, and it's the DNA that belongs to Oud Maleki by Chapard. Chapard probably didn't really start that DNA, but it's the one that a lot of people know of, so that's the one that we're going to use. So basically, it's creamy woods and cardamom type of vibe. Spicy oriental woods with some oud that doesn't really focus more so on the oud, it focuses more so on the spices. So there are quite a few fragrances that do this. There's Paris Corner's Killer Oud, Death by Oud. There's Oud Maleki, obviously. There's Rasasi Sutur Wow. There's Penhaligon's Blazing Mr. Sam. And there's a lot of other fragrances, even in the Middle Eastern world, that I can just list that are really endless. So this is one of those DNAs. Now granted, all of them do it a little bit different, and this one is kind of a lighter take on that DNA. So this is much closer to Oud Maleki than it is to Blazing Mr. Sam. And the reason I say that is because it's not as dense, it's not as sweet, or anything like that. This is nice, it's light, it's airier than a lot of those DNAs, and actually it's much close. That atomizer is just, what the heck. It's much closer to something like Killer Oud, Death by Oud, which I will do a full comparison on. It's really not bad of a fragrance. There are some slight differences of this versus Killer Oud, Death by Oud. This is actually the lightest take of them all, if I'm being honest. I get a lot more of the lavender. I'll get a lot more of the citruses with this one. And I think that this is going to be an easier wear. So the cardamom isn't really too much in your face, but rather you're going to get more of like the resins. You get this olibanum type of note along with the citruses, the cardamom, and some of that spicy cinnamon and cumin. So although the cardamom is there, it's obviously the start of this fragrance, but there are a lot more facets around it that you can sense with this one in comparison to something like Killer Oud, Death by Oud. I get a lot of these spices like nutmeg, cumin, cinnamon, and then I get the heart of the cardamom, and you get those nice creamy woods like sandalwood and things of that nature. I think for that DNA, this is one of the easiest versions of it. So you can wear this one the most in comparison to some of those other denser fragrances. So although it is lighter and it is lighter in performance, this is going to be an easier wear. As far as the performance goes for this one, I didn't get more than 6 hours out of this, and that's pushing it. But still, it is a spicy DNA that does it with a lighter fashion. It's easier to wear. Who can wear this one? I really think that this is ageless. So really 20 and up maybe. I don't think anybody under 20 will really enjoy this because of the emphasis on some of those spices. As far as the occasions go, you can honestly wear this for the most part anywhere except for places where you're going to be doing sport activities or sweating. So not really summer days, maybe summer nights, but that's pretty much it. Everything else is fair game. It is a spicier fragrance, so keep that in mind when you're rocking this one. Next up is my favorite Armaf fragrance to date, and this is Armaf Hunter Killer. They list a couple of notes like cinnamon, saffron, nutmeg, green apple, pepper, oud, cedar, patchouli, amber, and sandalwood. So a bit of similarities in the note breakdown to the other one, but I get quite a few different notes to this one. Let's go ahead and spray this one on. I'll tell you guys exactly what I get. So this is definitely the sexier take on the DNA, and you guys, I mean, this stuff lasts a long time. So in that opening, I get those spices. I get this creamy sandalwood with cinnamon, saffron, nutmeg. This is beautifully sweet patchouli right off of the top. But what's signature in this fragrance is an almond or cherry note, which they don't list here. There's this cherry accord. So it could be that they're using other notes to resemble the cherry note or the almond note, but it's 100% there. It is gorgeous. There's some violet in here. There's those spices, the cherry. This is so sexy, you guys. It's warm, ambers, cinnamon, sandalwood, cherry. This is so sexy. And what this really reminds me of is Guerlain L'Homme Ideal Extreme. This is that, you guys. This is Guerlain L'Homme Ideal Extreme. And this lasts a hell of a long time. Dare I even say longer than the new formulation. One thing that I did note with this fragrance, it's pretty linear. So what you get at the top is what you get throughout the entirety of the fragrance. But that's really not a bad thing. Sexy, cherry, long lasting. I get easily 8 to 10 hours out of this fragrance. And with the original, I get 6 to 8 hours. So this is absolutely stronger. There isn't that same refinement that you're going to get with the House of Guerlain, but still, it's so sexy, so sweet. You guys, I've gotten like 3 compliments wearing this, and I did rock this one to the gym. It is just gorgeous stuff. This is backup bottle worthy. I hardly ever say that. With all these fragrances and all these dupes, I hardly ever deem a fragrance backup bottle worthy. But in this price range, this is backup bottle worthy. Cherry hard candy. Creamy cherry hard candy. This is so damn good. Trust me on this one, guys. Grab yourself a bottle and you'll thank me later. That's all I have to say about both of these. I don't want to over complexify this one because it's really that sexy. Cherry hard candy, projection, sillage. This is just, it's it. This is the one. Please make sure that you like cherry fragrances before you go out there and buy this one. This is definitely more masculine than something like Lost Cherry by Tom Ford. This is a more masculine version. It just smells like Guerlain L'Homme Ideal Extreme. So if you're looking for that fragrance on a budget, this is worth it and some, honestly, and some. That's all I have to say about both of these fragrances. Armaf is really doing some solid work, I don't agree with all of their work, but this one, wow. If you enjoyed watching this video and you want to support this channel and watch videos like this and more, scroll down, hit that subscribe button, and until the next one, peace.